What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we are back with another Pirate Rumble video, having a look at the brand new challenge difficulty single match in Pirate Rumble, featuring the brand new Film Red Usopp, along with Uta, the new Chopper, just a bunch of annoying characters. We've got 3 different teams in this video that are taking on the challenge difficulty, and let's go ahead and start talking about it. First one here we have is a PSY Team. We've got Oden, Yamato, Kuzan, Law, Rebecca, Toy Soldier, and a very interesting bench. We've got the Smoothie as well as the Dory and Broggy. Those 2 characters are going to be really nice, as there are a lot of striker characters on the enemy side of the field, so they do provide debuffs when they do hit the field eventually. Kuzan is also a really good pickup too for this team, because he does heavily debuff int characters, but this is a really tough one. You want to try and KO that Chopper as soon as you possibly can, because Chopper provides such substantial healing. If you can knock him out, you know, being him one of the first characters to knock out, you're going to be in really good stead to actually win the match. But that's the thing, is that you can get very unlucky, and if he stays alive for too long, multiple heals from him is just too substantial for you to come back from it. So you have to be very careful about that. Getting a couple knockouts there with Yamato, or just a knockout. We actually knocked out the Chopper, which is big. Knocking out him first is huge. Bunch of debuffs coming in from Kuzan. He also does target all enemies too, which is a huge benefit to us. You got Kid, who actually does provide special binds, so you see that Yamato and Law are both special binded, but it doesn't matter too much because those characters have already launched their specials, so by the time they get their specials back, they're not going to be special binded anymore, which is great. Rebecca, Toy Soldier, obviously a really great unit, fantastic rumble ability, and a consistent special that always helps out. Putting on their side of the field can also be annoying. You know, when you've got Uta, when she launches her special, provides CT increase for 15 seconds for surrounding allies, and then you got Pudding, which can also provide a bunch of CT reduction as well. It can be very annoying, but there we go. We got really lucky with Yamato knocking out Pudding and Uta, so we don't have to worry about Uta no more, though your Rogue definitely can hit really hard, so we have to be very cautious of him. The halving of stats from Moria, obviously a big issue, but here we go with just Oden coming in like a truck, getting a couple knockouts, and by this point, 30 seconds left, 2 enemies remaining. Not going to be too hard to KO these characters from here, with some substantial damage output from the PSY Team. Moving on now to the secondary team is going to be a DEX team. Now, you wouldn't think a DEX team was going to be, you know, too successful here, but one of the best characters that helps out so much in this DEX team is going to be that bench, being that V2 Doflamingo. He comes in, he hits extremely hard, and I think without it, this team probably wouldn't be able to secure a victory. We have a lot of bulk on the DEX team, so we're able to tank quite a lot of hits early, and then once, you know, it does get down to the wire where the timer is a lot lower, Doflamingo can come in once something has been KO'd, and you can go ahead and get a lot of mileage out of that. You do have to be careful though, because, you know, Luffy has the passive that can immediately revive a DEX character when they're knocked out. So sometimes, you know, you actually want someone to die so Dofi can come in and start doing some damage output. Through testing this team a couple of times, I straight up lost because I couldn't get Doflamingo in fast enough. So it just depends on, you know, your stats of your characters, because if your stats of your characters are, you know, substantially increased, it's going to be harder to be knocked out, in turn harder to get Doflamingo to arrive in the actual main line. But of course, once again, we want to get rid of Chopper ASAP because of that healing capability that he does have. Dogstorm's really good, despite the fact that he doesn't do damage against the int enemies. He does provide really good buffs, and it allows, you know, to get the buffed versions of each of these characters, which is just nice in general. So we also have Dalton and the Moria character on the front line. Both of those characters being PvP rare recruits that they actually do really good damage by themselves. You wouldn't think that a PvP rare recruit would be like one of your dedicated damage dealers, but Moria and Dalton are just phenomenal choices, and if you have them, it's going to go a long way in making your team way more successful in this fight. But of course, the 8th anniversary Luffy is such a huge asset to the team as well, providing an amazing defensive passive and having a special ability that is, again, super strong. Here we go with Moria's special doing the defense down and really good damage towards the enemy there. Just that defense down, we want to consistently be doing that, because that's going to go a really long way to securing victory for our DEX team. And then Dalton once again doing very, very solid damage. And here we go with Luffy. Always love to see him come in. Does really, really good damage. Unfortunately, doesn't get a knockout. Would have been awesome if we were able to do that. And here we go with Chopper, providing really annoying amounts of healing to the enemy side of the field. Very annoying to deal with. 30 seconds left, and you would think that we're not in a really good opportunity to win this from here. But you'll see what will happen next. So Uta's going to come in and do really good damage to us. Not getting a knockout quite yet. Cat Viper does very good damage, knocking out the Pudding specifically, and also Kid. And Kid can also be a bit annoying. He has a really good defensive focused passive as well. Alright, then we've got Moria, defense down and additional damage, knocking out the opposing Moria, which is great. Cat Viper's already launched. Dalton is ready to go. Luffy's not going to launch quite yet, but here is Dalton. Good damage, knocking out the Rogue, knocking out the Yamato, and knocking out the Uta. And at this point here, that is going to secure the victory. So, there you have it. Didn't even get Dofu to come in. And even if he did, it would have been an absolute landslide. But despite all that, we still got the victory. And then we're moving on to the final team in the video, which is going to be the one that I had the least amount of success with in testing. I found that the previous two teams were able to beat the actual challenge difficulty more frequently. However, this team did take a little bit more opportunities to actually get the win, just due to the fact that this team doesn't have a lot of damage compared to the other teams. You know, our main damage dealers are, mainly, Akainu on first activation, providing really good health cut, and then Kaido can continuously do defense down, Magellan with defense down. If you can stack it in the right way, where you can get a little bit lucky, so long as you get defense down and damage on the right characters, you'll be in really, really good stead. So we get decent damage to start us off with the Kaido with the defense down, and then we'll get the Magellan as well with further defense down and really good wide range damage. And then we're going to get Akainu to do the health cut and then his damage. And that's a really good way to start us off there. As you see, we knocked out 2 characters just initially, and then we get the Izo Okiku knocking out another character and almost getting an additional KO, but you see Chopper is knocked out, which is the biggest one that we wanted to get rid of. And by this point, literally in the first like 30 to 35 seconds, I knew for sure this was going to be an easy win. While yes, they do still have a lot of really annoying characters, again, as you just saw, we just knocked out the Uta. We've taken out so many of their big hitters. It's an 8v3 with 60 seconds to go. By this point, there's just nothing that the opposing team could really do. The only really annoying thing that we have to worry about is Yamato, because Yamato does do really good damage, but at this point it doesn't really matter, because the Rogue doesn't really do much damage. He doesn't do any damage to us at all, because we don't have any side characters. And then Moria, he only does 1700 fixed damage, which is not that bad. So as long as Yamato's taken out, it's going to be pretty easy from here on out. And of course, you've got Dory and Broski, which can do really good debuffs towards striker characters. But with all of that, it is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.